Why are there so many shows starring Muppets and dozens of movies too? They said they'd watch everyone and they mean it. It's something that they've got to do. So now they've pledged you a lifelong commitment. Muppets, Matthew and Sam.
Welcome to Commitment, the podcast where two friends have vowed to watch all things Muppets. I'm Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And this week we are back with our friends in Fraggle Rock as we continue our regularly scheduled chronological journey and finish up April of 1985 with 3 more episodes. And they are the ones titled The Battle of Leaking Roof, Playing Till It Hurts, and Bored Stiff. But before we get into that, Sam, guess what we got?
What?
Another 5-star review.
Thank you. I was going to guess like maybe some kind of prestigious award, but this is just as good.
Just as good. This one comes in from Laying You Up from the Heavens on Apple Podcast. The subject line of the review says, delightful.
Oh, wow.
And the review says, I listen to this podcast as I toil long hours deep in the puppet mines. Excellent stuff. Can't wait for Follow That Bird.
What does that mean?
I assume this person is a puppet maker.
That's amazing. I hope so.
I don't know, professionally, for fun, whatever, but we got some puppet makers listening to this podcast.
There's a horrible place in the world called the puppet mine where they're mining puppets. If that's the case, I'm sorry we said you're a professional puppet maker. That's got to sting. Or you're a puppet who works in a mine.
Or you're like, a Sesame Street puppet maker.
Yeah, which would be the best option of all those. But, I'm looking at, I think we could win a Peabody.
Can we?
I think a podcast can win a Peabody.
I feel like can you win a Grammy?
Oh, yeah, I think we could win a Grammy, too.
Definitely no Oscars or Tonys. We can't get an EGOT.
No, we can't. Well, not with what we're working on currently. But we could write a play about the podcast. We could write a movie about the podcast, about our lives.
The thrilling lives of Sam and Matt sitting in a padded room doing a podcast.
It could be like Julie and Julia, where Jim's like doing the thing.
Oh, I thought it was like you and me where like it's Matt and Sam, the Julie and Julia. And so like it's not even 2 different timelines. It's just 2 different guys studying their Muppet knowledge in 2 different places in the same town at the same time.
Yeah, with the same, like, our wives are both like, you have to watch more Muppet stuff? Yeah. It's a split screen. We have exactly the same lines throughout the entire movie.
So it'd be Jim and Frank and Matt and Sam would be this movie.
Jim and Frank and Matt and Sam. I love that. And then that was with the shirt could be like the like Wu-Tang shirt, or the...
I see no problems with this plan.
And yeah, and they could do the thing. And then it would cut to us. And then we would talk about doing the thing. And then at the end, the Peabody Awards would say, you've surpassed even Jim and Frank. Here's your Peabody Award for all your service.
Oh, and before you go, don't forget your Oscar for Best Film.
And then they clap for us as we leave. And then we're both hit by a bus at the end.
The perfect end to this podcast, really.
Just our deaths together in a horrible accident.
We go out like Kermit in Muppets Take Manhattan.
Or we're changed to Muppet Vision 3D and the wrecking ball just smashes us.
We go down with the Titanic.
That's the way I want to go. That's the way I want to go. Yep.
Well, thanks for your lovely review, Laying You Up from the Heavens. I hope you're making some good puppets while listening to this episode. Oh, don't put that nose there.
Oh, no.
Oh,
the
no.
eyes are misaligned.
Oh, look at it. Oh, it's a cross-eyed puppet.
You better start over again.
And the other thing I want to touch on before we get into talking about Fraggle Rock today is the internet is in an uproar, Sam.
Oh, about what?
We don't get a lot of Muppet news these days, but when we do, The internet has something to say about it, so I figured, why shouldn't we add our voices to the fray? Sesame Street is changing its format.
Right.
And, having not seen the new format yet and having not even watched much recent Sesame Street, and as two men way out of the demographic of this show, I figured we could speculate wildly and make up our minds now about whether or not we like it.
I'd love to, Matt. I hate it.
You heard it here first. So for those that don't know, Sesame Street is what they call a magazine format. It has been since day one. That's what they mean by all the little segments of animated thing, short film, puppet segment, animated thing, celebrity guest, all those things. Like having all those bits of an episode make up their hour-long, half-hour-long episodes, whatever they are now. That's called a magazine format, which they've still been doing. It's different today on HBO and PBS than it was 50 years ago, but they're still technically doing the magazine format. They are now
like segments, kind of. Right?
Yeah, just short segments to keep the show moving.
But then there's like Elmo's World, Abby's World, like chunks of the show.
Yeah, in the past they've done like the magazine things, and then like the last 5-10 minutes of an episode might be Elmo's World. And so they definitely have like shows built in, but now they're going even further than that, and they're going to be moving the show to basically it's a half-hour format still. And it's doing like 11-minute stories, like animated series do a lot of times.
Yeah.
But there's like an A story, that's the first 11 minutes. Then there's a 5-minute animated segment in the middle. And then there's another like B story in the last 11 minutes of the episode. So it's like one story, animated segment, another story. So it seems like from the description, they're cutting out short films, celebrity segments, all of that stuff, unless it can naturally fold into the street scene like stories. So yeah, clearly this is something that's going to change Sesame Street quite a bit, it seems like. And, the internet's mad about it, which I understand. Change is scary. But we haven't seen anything of it yet. So we don't know that it's going to be bad.
How level-headed of you.
I always try to be the nice, calming voice of Muppet Twitter.
I guess I feel like there was such a specific reason that they made Sesame Street the way they did. And it seems to me at least to have been to combat television in a way, like short attention spans.
Well, yeah, as we learned, they were making it that way because kids were getting so into TV and memorizing advertising jingles, and they were like, wait, what if my kids could memorize educational songs that were just like advertising jingles? And so it seems like they're moving away from that mentality, and my brain says they've done some studies into what kids shows have been working better lately, and they're trying to compete more with other cartoons as opposed to being their own unique Sesame Street thing.
Yeah. They want a piece of the bluey pie.
Correct. They're like, oh, kids are willing to sit down and watch an 11-minute story. Why don't we do that?
But there's also the internet, which is assaulting children with short attention span kind of stuff all the time. So it does seem like a weird time to pivot from that to me. Right.
Like you could basically give them Sesame Street TikTok as a show, and I feel like you would have kids' interests for a half hour.
And that's basically the same thing as what, like Sesame Street when it came out was basically like TikTok of its time, probably. Like people probably watch that and be like, this is so fast. I can't believe it. This is assaulting my senses. So I don't know, but yeah, they must have done studies, and it probably is just like Daniel Tiger and Bluey are the biggest things in the universe, and like they just want to do that too.
Yeah, they're looking into what their straight up competition is. I think it's interesting though that it's also seems to be coming from Sesame making these changes, not from HBO making these changes, because the deal with HBO ends next year, I believe, and so there's not even confirmation that this new change will include a deal with HBO. So I think this change is happening independently of the HBO deal, it seems like. So I think Sesame Street will change regardless of what platform it's on.
Right. But another thing is they've done stuff like, what was the Cookie Monster Hotel?
Remember the Furchester.
the Fur Chester, or like Elmo's Night Show. Like
Mhm.
they've done stuff like this before, but it didn't work
Well,
out.
and they're getting rid of the food truck Gonger and Cookie Monster segments.
They are?
Yeah, or they're at least like it
I
was
was gonna say
mentioned in
maybe
the
they're
list.
doing it because of those, because those are so funny.
No, it seems like they're cutting those kinds of things out. Like no
Oh.
shows within shows except for the animated show, which is called something like Into 123 or Inside 123, which is like
Oh,
an animated
right.
series that takes place inside the building of 123 Sesame. Hilariously, I think Hollywood Reporter said it's the first time kids will get to see inside of 123 Sesame.
Oh, Bert and Ernie live in there, sweetie.
Yeah.
We've seen a Christmas special that takes place almost entirely inside of it. What's wrong with you?
Cookie Monster ate a tree in there.
I guess those kids weren't alive at the time, so maybe they're
Well,
technically right.
yes. Okay. The first time this child I know who's alive now has seen inside 123 Sesame.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Well,
I'm more interested to see what happens with the deal with HBO because
yeah.
I would like to see all the old Sesame Streets available, at least as many as we can get. They used to have so many more on there, and they're all gone now. So even if we could get those old ones back that they had, that'd be great.
Maybe we're gonna start getting a lot of lore about all these guys now.
That's what
You're gonna have to redo all of the Muppet of the Weeks.
I am curious if they'll start really like. I think that's what's more interesting to me is like I don't necessarily get immediately mad or happy about this change because I am curious to see what this means because they have the street scenes. They've told stories throughout episodes. We've seen that since the beginning where you essentially have like 11 minutes of story in an episode. It's just scattered throughout the format. And so now just like taking that and making that the whole thing in one play essentially. I don't know if it'll be that different. But I guess they could do some different things with that.
I do like the street scenes, so I guess I'm not really, I don't know, maybe not ultimately that opposed to it.
Well, especially when you take the fact that, we were watching early on like hour and a half long episodes and then hour long episodes. And like now it's only like a half hour episode. So
yeah,
if you're already subtracting so much from that old format, you don't need to fill an hour with all those magazine style segments.
right.
And if you just took the story out of a season 16 episode about Snuffleupagus, that's probably 11 minutes. So it feels like I think there is a loss there of like you're losing some of the essence of what Sesame Street feels like, but it's not like you're adding something that wasn't there before.
And it would be cool to like pour that much because those animations are so cool. And they worked with like famous animators. They worked with just all kinds of different animation styles and stuff to like pour that into the animation industry and do another round. Like I'm sure they must make new ones all the time, but just to like keep that going, that seems like a big loss too. But
yeah, I feel like that with the the Sesame Street celebrity segment things where it's like you can just do something weird and different. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4 Feist music video from it's probably like 10, 15 years old at this point. But it's just one of those things you watch and you're like, oh, this had no bearing on anything else, but it's a really impressive music video that they just shot on Sesame Street because a song has counting in it. And I feel like those opportunities are what might feel like they're missed to incorporate more celebrities or more just ideas that you can do just because of the magazine format where it's like, this doesn't need to have any connection to anything else we're doing. We just had a fun idea. Let's throw it in there.
But hey, what do we know?
Not
We're
much.
just two idiots.
Yeah, nobody asked for our opinions. Well, Sam, that's enough speculating for this week. Let's get into things we know about and things we've actually watched. So how about you tell the people what we watched this week?
That was a great transition.
I felt it almost falling apart in the middle. I was like, oh God, pull up, pull up, pull up.
First, we watched The Battle of Leaking Roof, original air date April 15th, 1985. Due to Pa Gorg's frequent negligence, Gorg Castle is falling apart, the most troublesome indicator of this being a giant hole in the roof. It lets water in, it's drafty, and Ma isn't gonna let it slide anymore. She tells Pa he's gotta get his ass up on the roof and fix the hole. One problem, though, Pa's afraid of heights. But Pa is also too proud to ever tell anyone that he's afraid of heights, especially Ma, so instead, he must concoct a scheme to get the roof fixed. And what he comes up with is pretty straightforward. Just make Junior do it. But while Junior's climbing up on the roof, Ma comes out to watch Pa fix the roof, so Pa's got to go up on the roof. While the boys are up there, Ma picks some vegetables for dinner, but spots Moki and Boober and flips out. Junior goes to help her, but smashes the ladder in his haste, leaving Pa stuck on the roof. A lot more stuff happens in this episode, so just hang with me. While Boober and Moki were running away, Boober loses his hat. Apparently, his lucky hat. Have we heard it's his lucky hat before? That sounds familiar.
I think in the first episode where he lost his hat, like one of the first batch of episodes we watched.
Yeah, his whole life falls apart or something.
Right. And he's had a couple other lucky items of clothing, I believe.
Right. I think you're right. A scarf, perhaps.
Yeah.
He convinces Moki that she's got to go get it. This has very little bearing on anything, but will put Moki in a pivotal position later in the episode. I don't even remember where the hat was, or if she gets the hat back and we see that happen. Does that happen?
I think it ends up being stuck to something that Ma Gorg picks up. And so then she like throws it and the hat just kind of falls, and that's how they get the hat back.
Okay.
I think it's completely unimportant.
Yeah. So also Ma is cooking a souffle and it's getting big and going bonkers, even though it's not in an oven, which I found very irritating for some reason. So anyway, Pa's on the roof, but eventually Junior finds another ladder and guides Pa down with Pa's eyes closed because he's too scared. When Pa gets down, he brags about how brave he is, but mid-brag, Ma notices that the roof is still not fixed because Pa and Junior forgot to do that in all the hubbub. So Ma decides that she's going to go up on the roof and fix it herself, grabbing her tool basket, which, unbeknownst to her, contains Moki. While on the roof, she sees Moki and flips out again, and Pa has to climb the ladder to save her. And he does, and he also admits to Ma that he's afraid of heights. Then the souffle explodes and plugs the hole. Meanwhile, up in outer space, Sprocket's voice goes out, hampering his effectiveness as a watchdog, so he and Doc team up to go out and look for prowlers. And look, I don't really know what's going on with these two in this one in particular. The moral, I suppose, is to just admit when you're afraid or unable to do something, but in actuality, there's nothing to learn here except that life is meaningless chaos, and if all we can do is react to that chaos, do we even have free will at all? Next up, we watch Playing Till It Hurts, air date April 22nd, 1985. Red gets a letter from Rock Hockey Hannah, the inventor of rock hockey, and apparently one of the most beloved Fraggles of all time. She writes to tell Red that she's heard good things about her and that she'll be at her next game to watch her play, but also that Red can't tell anyone that she'll be there or else they'll want to throw a parade for her. Red goes down to practice, but starts daydreaming about being a star and impressing Hannah, stops paying attention, and causes a collision that leaves her with a hurt leg. She tries to keep practicing, but is clearly too hurt to play, so the other Fraggles send her to rest, recruiting Moki to take her place, but Moki sucks at rock hockey. This royally ticks off Red because Rock Hockey Hannah is coming, but she can't explain that to anyone, so she just has to be belligerent, deny that she's hurt, and keep sneaking off to practice more, which in turn royally ticks off her friends, and they eventually put their collective foot down and forbid her from doing anything but resting. After a fitful night dreaming about Rock Hockey Hannah telling her that she's being a baby, Red wakes up with a renewed desire to get on that rock hockey rink. She eventually realizes that if she wears the goalie's equipment, no one can tell who she is, and she can play, so she convinces the team's goalie to let her sub in for him and hits the rink. But she's hurt pretty bad, so she also sucks pretty bad, and Rock Hockey Hannah is indeed there watching. Red starts to panic, leading her eventually to foul another player, and when he lines up for his penalty shot, Red snaps, pulls off her mask, and says she just can't do it anymore, even if Rock Hockey Hannah thinks she's a loser for not playing through her pain. But that was Dream Rock Hockey Hannah. Real hot rock hockey Hannah is a fine and noble sports person and knows that sports injuries are nothing to sneeze at. She commends Red for knowing her limits, which is maybe a little generous considering the depraved lengths that Red's gone to up till this point. Up in outer space, Sprocket broke his entire face slipping on ice, and eventually Doc does the same but hurts his leg, leaving the pair of them busted up. Doc tries to be brave and go to work for some reason, but decides that healing up is the best course of action, because it's too damn cold outside anyway. The moral, rest when your body tells you to rest and use your sick time at work. Finally, we watched Bored Stiff, air date April 29th, 1985. Ma and Pa are being nasty and horny all over Fraggle Rock. which is to them Kissing Rock, apparently the place where Gorgs have sex. But their nastiness is also making it hard. They're not actually having sex, I want to be clear.
Well, yeah, we don't see them having sex, but there is implied.
Oh, yeah, they do run off to have sex multiple times in the episode.
Ma Gorg at one point says, "This is the place where we first, well, you'll understand when you're older."
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's called Kissing Rock in front of children. It's called Fucking Rock. Just between the two of them.
down to fucking rock. And there is also, Muppet Wiki even points out at one point in this episode, Pa says to Ma, "It's a presence to be in your pleasure."
Yeah.
Which is,
and that was disturbing.
yeah.
To be in your pleasure, perhaps, is the censor should have caught on to that one. But they're up in Canada where laws don't apply. So anyway, where was I? Their nastiness is also making it hard for Fraggles to get out into the Gorg Garden. Gobo eventually works up the nerve to rush out there, scaring Ma and Pa, who decide that they've had enough of those horrible Fraggles infesting Kissing Rock and decide to spray them down with boredom juice, a pesticide that eliminates pests by making them so bored that they can't move. Junior objects to this cruel idea, but Pa commences to spraying, nailing Wimbley, Boober, and Moki. Gobo looks on in horror, as does Junior, who promptly dumps the juice in a flower bed when Pa isn't looking. Unfortunately, Gobo's hiding near that flower bed, catches a whiff, and gets bored stiff too. Luckily, Junior sees this happen. Double luckily, he has the cure for boredom juice, which is singing a silly song with a bowl on your head to the victim. It works, Gobo snaps out of it, and the two of them devise a plan. I guess. It's kind of a weird plan. Junior knows that Pa isn't going to stop this time until the Fraggles are dead, so Gobo advises him to pretend as though he is bored stiff due to all the Fraggles being gone, and in return, Junior teaches him the cure dance. Junior does his little play act, but falls in the flower bed and actually gets bored stiff, so Gobo's got to dance to save him. Then he goes and dances for his friends and saves them, and I guess that's the end of the episode. And I forgot to write what the moral is. I guess don't use pesticides? Is that the moral? Don't be cruel to smaller things than you?
I guess, because, yeah, the Doc storyline would...
Oh, yeah, Doc's trying to catch... I forgot to write that down, too. Up in outer space, the health inspector comes and tells Doc his house is too nasty, and they're spreading disease all over the town. And Doc's at first like, no way. But then he's like, maybe this because this giant hole in my wall. I should maybe do something about this. So he builds a trap against the wall, but Sprocket knows the Fraggles will get trapped, so he keeps springing the trap, which is really sweet. To not let that happen.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no danger of that even coming close to happening. The Fraggles have other things going on.
It really seemed like that's what we were setting up for, was like, oh, is Gobo going to get trapped? And, Doc almost sees him. And...
arguably a much better episode.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but it is a bizarre one that I don't think has a moral besides maybe be nice to small things.
Yeah, I think it's maybe like an anti-pesticide message of some sort.
Yeah, or I guess listen to those around you, and like I guess Junior and Sprocket are the voice of reason here, and I don't really know.
It didn't even occur to me that there could be a moral in this episode, which I guess is why I didn't write it down. Elsewhere in April 1985, Coca-Cola releases its reformulated New Coke,
Oh, dang.
a disastrous rollout that is reversed after 3 months and continues to be a pop culture touchstone for hilarious corporate failure. Or was it all a publicity stunt to drum up Coke sales when the original came back? Who knows?
Was it?
I don't know. Nobody knows. That's just like a theory that some people have. Because 3 months seems like too fast, for them to roll that back to me.
Yes, it seemed, well, I feel like Coke probably lasts a long time in the can. So they might have had enough in the warehouse still of old Coke to be like, oh, shit, ship that out. We got to get the new Coke off the shelves, put old Coke back on the shelves. But yeah, I obviously, we weren't alive when that happened. So it's hard to know without witnessing it firsthand. And I only know it as a cultural touch point of people referencing like new Coke.
But 3 months before social media, that must have been quite the uproar.
Yeah. I mean, it also, it must have been an uproar with as much that it gets mentioned so many other places in pop culture. Like there's no way this wasn't a huge story.
Yeah. New Coke is shorthand for corporate boondoggle.
Yeah. Did they try to bring it back at some point? I feel like
I think that they had like a limited, I think it was maybe related to Stranger Things or something like that. They had like a limited release of new Coke that they sent to influencers or something like that.
that sounds right. Well, in the world of Muppets in April 1985, the only thing Jim wrote down in his journal isn't really about Muppets at all. It's April 27th and 28th, Project Board Meeting, 50 Downshire Interior Passageways. So this is all it says. There's no other context. But this is the house in England where he has the blue plaque now, where it says like
Right.
Jim Henson lived here. And so I'm guessing he was just getting some work done on this house in the interior passageways. I don't know if these are secret passageways, if these are just fancy words
That's
for
a weird way to
hallways.
say like hallway. Yeah.
Right. If you were like getting work done on your hallways, one, why just the hallways? But yeah, interior passageways. So maybe there's a bunch of hidden tunnels in that house.
Interesting.
Uh,
Or he was just trying to be fancy and British. Passageway.
Notably, that house is, I think, worth about $3 to $4 million today, if you want to buy it.
It's because it's a nice passageways.
Yeah.
They really add up.
But that is all that's going on in the world of Muppets in April 1985. In May, I believe, is when they go off to start shooting Labyrinth. So we've got some activity coming up soon. For now, though, let's get into the first episode. April 15th, 1985, The Battle of Leaking Roof, written by Robert Sandler and directed by Eric Till. My first thought after watching this batch of episodes, Sam, was I would kill for a Doozer episode right about now.
That would be nice. The Gorg episode renewed my hatred for Gorgs, unfortunately.
Well, and it's just so long since we've seen a Doozer-focused episode, and we just keep getting these little teases of them in these episodes where you get like a one-off joke that I'm like, yeah, that's nice. I like seeing them, but we haven't had any personality from them in so long.
And they have like actual conflict, and there's enough of them for there to be interesting stories. Whereas the Gorgs,
There's just three of them.
They're so shrill too. They just really grate on me.
Oh, this episode.
All three of them.
This episode in particular is just shouting for a half hour.
Exactly what I was going to say. They shout all of their lines, and Junior sounds like Cartman. It's just like,
man!
Yeah.
Oh, my radish poofs.
I feel like he sounded more and more like Cartman all the time, too.
I mean, on top of this being a Gorg-heavy episode, Gobo, Wembley, and Red do not even appear in this episode. And I was texting Sam about this one and said it feels like a spin-off pilot. Like, you know when the critic showed up on The Simpsons? And they're like, oh, here's a whole Simpsons episode about a different guy you've never met.
Yeah, but they did it kind of funny because like the people who made The Simpsons didn't want to do that. And so I think then like later they show him in like an insane asylum.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, Matt Groening took his name. That's the only episode Matt Groening's name isn't on of the entire run of The Simpsons.
And it's also one of the best episodes.
I don't mind it at all. Yeah, you get some really good fun stuff in that one.
It's the Boo Earns episode, right?
I believe so, yeah. And it's because it's a bunch of short films. It's the short film festival in Springfield.
Oh, and Barney makes the one where he's like, "Don't cry for me, I'm already dead." Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, what are you talking about, Matt Groening? You're wrong. But this felt to me like a pilot for a Gorg spin-off series.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, what if we made a whole sitcom in the world of the Gorgs?
And you saying that, it really rang true to me because I do feel like Joey. There's like a spin-off is always goofier and about like the annoying characters.
Well, and they even put them in a pretty, relatable, normal sitcom thing where it's like, hey, Tim Taylor's got to go fix the leak on the roof and he's going to mess it up this week. It's like one of those plots where, is the next episode Pa Gorg inviting his boss over for dinner? Like,
what's that guy, the only other guy who lives in Gorg World? The Frog Man?
Wander McMooch.
Yeah, inviting Wander McMooch over for dinner. Got to impress him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it did. It felt like it straddled that line between, and I've been thinking about this a lot for some reason, like, Home Improvement is like a baby show. Like, who's that show for? But
for men, Sam. For men who want more power in their dishwashers.
Because it is like goofy and silly, especially the earlier seasons. And then like Heidi comes out, and it's like, ha.
Well, and then the later seasons are like, what if Randy had cancer though?
Yeah. What if Randy dies?
Brad got into drugs? Well, if the small one was weird.
Is Randy Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah. That episode that is so burned in my mind where it's like, whatever mystery disease you have, all you have to do is take one pill for the rest of your life every day.
Yeah.
Weird.
And the Brad one is burned in my brain where like they find a bag of pot underneath the swing in the backyard. And it's just, yeah, those very special episodes.
Right. And then the other one's a goth, huh? I forgot he was a goth.
Yeah.
That's when they stopped doing the cutaways where it's like the like little gremlin like comes out.
The little stop motion things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they go from Randy going, I think I have cancer, to burp, 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 burp,
to
burp.
like a medical beep, beep,
Oh.
boop, and then like he gets like wheeled away or something.
Yeah. Oh,
They don't do that.
I've seen every episode of that show, and so many of them are just flooding back into my head now that I could do a home improvement podcast if Tim Allen wasn't so awful.
So yeah, it reads so much more like that kind of silly sitcom than Fraggle Rock usually does. Like, I don't know, the middle episode, in my opinion, was good and like a perfect example of what like a Fraggle Rock episode is. This one is just meaningless, howling into the void.
Well, speaking of howling, the episode opens up with Doc and Sprocket. Apparently Sprocket needs to be
This
a
is
watch.
fucking weird.
Yeah, it needs to be a watchdog now. And
Doc's paranoid. He's got prowlers out there for some reason, he thinks.
And at first I thought there's a couple things in this with Doc and Sprocket where I'm like, oh, is he talking about the inn? But no, I don't think so. He's just talking about outside of his own workshop. But Sprocket has laryngitis, and so he can't bark. And so Doc's like, okay, well, if you see something, wag your tail and I'll bark for you. Yeah, it just basically ends with Sprocket being embarrassed of Doc because Doc starts barking and howling like a dog.
And is completely detached from whatever's happening in the rest of the episode.
I mean,
right?
that's most Doc and Sprocket things these days.
I guess. This one feels even more so.
There is a decent line, though, where he says, Sprocket, it would help if you moved your mouth when I barked.
I miss that. So he's pretending to, he
wants people to believe that Sprocket
Sprocket
is
is
the watchdog
Randy.
barking at them.
Gotcha. For what reason? Who's to say?
Yeah, are the same, men who were stealing furniture from the inn but weren't really stealing furniture from the inn coming back? Who knows?
Sprocket has functioning hands and thumbs. He could work a little like alarm of some sort.
You could also just walk out there and wave at the prowlers and they'd be like, this dog's freaking me out. You just gave me a
This
thumb.
dog is more human
This dog
than
just
animal.
flipped me off.
Yeah, he could like punch him. Pow, 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 pow.
Oh, man. Just imagine a dog walks up to you and just goes, boom, and flips you off.
Uppercuts you right in the nuts.
Well, down in not Fraggle Rock, but, the offshoot world of the Gorgs, Ma gets her foot stuck in a bucket. And the bucket was there because that's how Pa repaired the roof.
This is one of my favorite Pa character traits, is his inability to fix anything, and then the hilarious ways he comes. The nailing the basement door shut was more funny than just the bucket. But
Well, because for that, there wasn't really a reason. Like for this, he's afraid of heights, doesn't want to admit it. With the basement, he was just like, problem solved.
that sounds hard. Yeah, but being a homeowner's tough. Fixing stuff. I got a arch out there falling apart.
Oh, dang.
I don't know what the fuck to do. I gotta look up some YouTube videos or something.
How to fix an arch. Well, we learn pretty quickly, we catch on, that Pa is putting it off because he's afraid of heights. And Ma, always the problem solver, just like she was with the basement, immediately offers to fix it herself if you won't go up there. And this seems like an okay solution to me. But Pa says, your place is in the kitchen, not fixing leaks.
She's got toxic masculinity,
Absolutely. Thankfully, Ma calls him out for that very quickly.
Yeah.
And she suggests, okay, fine, well, let Junior help you. And Pa says, oh, I forgot about Junior.
That's good.
I forgot about the third Gorg. But Junior doesn't want to help, rightly, because Pa is always shouting at him.
Yeah, things are really coming home to roost for Pa in this episode. Everybody's had enough of him in general.
Well, and there's a nice bit of logic in the episode as well, where it's like they're remembering what happened in past episodes. It's not just like Junior getting yelled at by Pa once again and being like, oh man, why is he yelling at me?
Yes, you are horrible to me. I will never help you again.
And so Junior makes Pa promise that he won't yell at him this time if he helps him out.
Yeah. Something which doesn't really come up as much as it could through the episode. Like, there's a bunch of times where this episode could have been about something more interesting.
Yes.
And like everything really hinging on Pa keeping his cool is not what this episode is about.
No.
What could have been better had that been the case.
Yeah, there's a couple of like Chekhov's guns that just kind of sit there in a drawer for a while.
Yeah. Chekhov's hat as well.
Yeah. Well, this transitions into a Gorg song, which really made me, think about how much I don't love Gorg episodes, I don't love Gorg songs, and I don't love how Gorgs just shout all the time.
I remember this song in theory, but I don't remember any of the words or nothing.
It's Yes Sir, No Sir is the song because Pa says that Junior can be the general of this team who's going to go up and fix the roof. And Junior snaps into like a military style song where he's preparing for battle.
Pa says they're going to treat fixing the roof like it's a battle.
Right, the Battle of Leaking Roof.
Yeah, also doesn't exactly mean anything.
No, and not really a thing they do anything about other than giving Junior a title so that he can sing a song, and Pa can hopefully use Junior as the human shield to do his bidding in this.
It's a commentary on the military, isn't it?
I don't think it's supposed to be. But the one thing I will say, to give this episode some credit, is that we talk a lot about Fraggle Rock and how the puppetry goes unnoticed. I think similarly, this episode is really technically impressive when you think about the full body mascot type suits that are running around and doing a bunch of these stunts. Climbing ladders upside down. Pa climbs down a ladder head first at one point.
I didn't even think about that.
And that's got to be terrifying when you're inside of a giant suit and you can't see anything really.
I will give this to the Gorgs. As much as I don't always love them, I like them 10,000% more than I like almost any other full body Muppet monster.
Yeah.
Thog, horrible. Sweetums is the only one who's better than them, I would say.
But I think if we got like a full Sweetums show, we probably wouldn't love that.
But yeah, the Gorgs don't read to me as like the same annoying Muppet monsters that other Muppet monsters do.
Junior sometimes.
Junior's getting better.
Yeah.
I like that Junior's a little bit more self-aware.
It sounds like he's a little bit like he went from being like a 12-year-old to like a 15-year-old.
Yeah, he's like a sassy. He's entered his sassy stage.
Little rebellious as much as you can be in a world where no one else exists.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of those impressive moments is when they're first climbing up on the roof and Pa doesn't really want to go. Pa is climbing the roof and Junior's pushing Pa up the ladder with his head.
And these are human beings in suits with giant robot faces.
Yeah. But of course, Junior does not help out Pa at all because he mentions, if you fell from here, you'd kill yourself for sure.
I like that part too. This episode, I guess, did have kind of a strong start.
Yeah, again, I think there's, because of the Chekhov's gun type of things and because the Fraggles are barely important, that I wish, okay, you could have just left them out completely. It's a little weird. And
it kind of could do like the Frasier thing where it's like every Frasier's like a comedy of errors, where there's like a bunch of people who are making dumb choices and then they all converge and ruin Frasier's life.
Yes.
Like that's almost what this episode is doing, but it doesn't quite stick the landing.
Well, especially with the Fraggles just kind of being props throughout the episode, not really, causing anything to happen.
That was the most backdoor piloty part of the whole thing, was just like, here's the characters you love.
Right.
They're not going to really do anything, but it's like that Brady Bunch episode where they meet the other family who's just like the Brady Bunch.
The Partridge Family?
No, there was, I don't think the show ever got made, but there's a backdoor pilot episode where it's like, we adopted children, but they're from all over the world, instead of.
Yeah, there's a few different, especially like 70s and 80s type of episodes like that, where the entire episode becomes about a different family. I think there's a Golden Girls episode that's just entirely about these people who like live in an apartment in Miami, and you're like, what is happening right now? And you're like, you wanted to make a whole show with those people.
Yeah, and Blanche shows up at the end
and
says, welcome to the neighborhood. See you later. Then you never see
I'm going to go
again.
have sex with somebody.
They could all say that, to be fair, but,
But-
Blanche says it the most.
Yeah, that's her catchphrase. Well, Ma is making her radish and garlic souffle, and this is when she accidentally picks up a boober and tosses him, which again doesn't really matter.
This is the hat losing situation.
Yeah. At the same time, Junior is climbing down the ladder to get the Fraggles that have just scared his ma, and he breaks the ladder on the way down, so Pa is stuck up on the roof. And then for some reason, Junior just walks into a rake, Sideshow Bob style.
There was a lot of just moments like that, or just this guy's still up on the roof, huh? They're having more ideas to get him off the roof, eh?
But Boober lost his cap in the Gorg basket, and Moki promises to make him another one, but he says you can't just make another lucky cap. And so then, for some reason, Boober recalls, hey, you remember that Uncle Traveling Matt postcard about losing his hat?
Yeah.
And Moki's like, not really.
Moki says yes, and then Boober says, no, you don't.
And so he recites it and says, basically what happens is Uncle Traveling Matt saw a mirror and he dropped his hat and he thought the ugly creature in the mirror was trying to steal his hat.
Yeah.
And he's at a mall again.
Moron.
He's hanging out at that mall for a while.
Yeah, he goes to the mall twice in this set of episodes.
But Moki at the end of that just goes, all right, well, I'm going to go out and get your hat.
So, I mean, that's logically what you would, in real life, that's what you would do. But I feel like you need a little bit more than that.
Well, speaking of logic, we get Junior's plan to get Pa down off the roof, and it's a rope.
He just ties a rope to him and is going to pull him
Just
off.
going to pull him to the ground. This is a little bit of this coming back. Pa yells at him for coming up with this idea, and Junior's like, fine, you know what? I give up. I'm not going to help you because you promised not to yell. And Pa goes, well, did I ever tell you you're my favorite son?
Yeah,
And that's what works. That convinces Junior
it
to
works
help
on
him because he never knew he was his favorite son. And so he finds a big ladder-like thing that just happened to be nearby.
I guess it is a ladder.
Mhm.
Is it a ladder?
It seems like a ladder
Okay.
with an extension on the end, but
It's like one of them. It's not a ladder you lean against your house. It's a ladder that is
another
a
side to it,
triangle.
right? And so what Junior does is he puts it up against the house perpendicular, and so he
Yeah.
climbs it and can't reach Pa. And neither one of them are smart enough to figure out the solution to this problem. So we just move on back to the souffle, where Ma's
Yeah.
putting grits in the souffle with the garlic and radishes. She sneezes into her souffle multiple times, which is one, gross, and two, causes her to add in too many ingredients because she keeps
Yep.
at mid-pour, she'll sneeze and go, whoops, that's too many grits. Whoops, that's too much garlic. Whoops.
Yeah, I might be thinking pretty late in the episode to be introducing an entirely new plot.
Yeah. And she offhandedly says, this is going to be one big souffle. And at this point, I went, oh, I bet the souffle will get so big that it's going to be like a cushion that Pa can jump off the roof and land on.
Oh, logical. I didn't know what the fuck they were doing with the souffle.
So I think I was reaching because I was like, this must be important. They're talking about this souffle way too much that it must come back. And I was like, oh, maybe it'll be like those big air cushions like firemen use in movies.
Yeah, that would have made perfect sense.
Yeah, that's not what happens. Spoiler alert. So Junior goes and gets a plank to lay across the ladder to the roof. And this is when Pa crawls across the plank and climbs down the ladder head first, but didn't fix the hole while he was up there.
It looks cool, but it takes so long, and it's just like.
I think they
why am
also
I watching
realized it
this?
looked cool. And they're like, well, we got to show off how cool this looks.
Yeah.
So as Ma calls him out for not fixing the roof, he breaks into another song called I'm Not Scared of Anything at All, about how brave he is. And
Just when he's swinging the sword around.
yeah, and this is the moment where they're distracted, and Moki just kind of walks in and grabs the cap.
I think this is the episode I rewound the most of any episode we've watched.
You're like, what the hell
'Cause
just
some of these
happened?
scenes just are like milliseconds long,
Mhm.
and then later on, Moki has the hat or is in that basket. And I was like, how did she get in the basket?
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
Well, after all that singing, because Pa lies to Ma and say someone was afraid to go up on the roof. And
Right.
Ma, of course, thinks he means Junior, and so says, well, Junior, you don't have to go up on the roof with Pa to fix the hole this time.
What did he think was going to happen?
Great question. To be fair to him, not the fear of heights part necessarily, but like he should share that. There is a pretty wicked thunderstorm brewing outside.
And it's also the middle of the night, it seems like.
Yeah, which I understand you got a hole in your roof, need to fix it, but climbing a ladder up on the tallest thing in Gorgdom during a lightning storm seems like a bad idea.
Oh, lightning. I didn't even think about the lightning.
Well, Pa fakes an old war wound to get out of fixing the roof. So Ma says, I'll go do it. Just watch the souffle while I'm gone. And Pa says, real men don't watch souffles. So he puts Junior in charge of it. Ma is the brightest one of the bunch, puts the ladder parallel to the roof so she can just climb right up it and hop on the roof.
Yeah.
Very easy for her.
This whole episode could have been resolved within the first 2 minutes of it.
Yeah, they could have just asked her, like, hey, how do you put a ladder up? And she'd be like, oh, like this. And they go, oh, okay. Thanks, Ma. This is when she reaches in for the hammer and grabs Moki instead. Gets freaked out, needs help to save her from the Fraggles. Pa can't go up the ladder to save Ma. And Junior is busy fighting off the giant alien-like souffle that has boiled over.
Has a person inside of it,
Yes.
like, undulating.
Yes, it's like a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man,
Yeah.
but just a souffle. I did not think about the fact that it wasn't in an oven until you said that.
It's so weird. How's it cooking?
It seems to be just in a pan on a table.
That's not how it works.
Mm-mm.
But I guess if it was in an oven, it wouldn't work. Like, you couldn't see it.
Maybe, was there like a fire underneath the surface it was on? I don't know.
Could have been, but you got to bake a souffle. Maybe they could have picked a different food, like a bread that rises, you know?
Yeah. Watch that bread while it's proving, Junior. I don't know.
Why? No. Good point. They messed a few times in this episode where they were in too far, I think, and they were like, I can't go back and change the souffle.
Yeah, we already wrote down the word souffle, and it was hard enough to spell the first time, so I'm not changing it.
When we don't have autocorrect, it's 1985. Maybe they did. No, they didn't have autocorrect.
No,
What are
we
you
just got that a
talking
couple
about?
years ago, it feels like.
Yep. But also, like, I can't quite wrap my head around it, but Ma's fear and Pa's fear don't feel equivalently, like, everybody knows Ma's afraid of Fraggles.
Right.
Like, that's not, that doesn't, like, connect to me that there's, like, two people should be, like, hoisted by their own petard, you know? But they're not. Ma's not scared. Like, she didn't know there's a Fraggle up there.
Right.
She wasn't going to do something brave.
Right, yes. That's a good point. I did not even think about them because it doesn't really tie in. I didn't even think they were trying to tie it in, but I think you're right that they were trying to equate these fears and don't do a good job of it necessarily.
Right.
So Pa tosses the Moki basket off the roof, which just lets her walk away unscathed.
It's kind of like how ants can fall an infinite amount of distance.
Right, it's a
you know?
body size, terminal velocity type of thing.
Right.
So Pa musters up the courage and helps Ma down as Junior continues to fight off the souffle. And one of the few moments that made me laugh, saying, "Touche, souffle."
Yeah, I thought that was pretty. That's like why they couldn't change souffle.
That's exactly.
'Cause they
Well, we
thought-
can't say touche cake.
That was the first thing they thought of for the whole episode.
They're like, hey, I thought of an episode. It's called Touche Souffle. Let's start from there. And this is when the souffle explodes, having not been used as a cushion, but rather as some plumber's caulk or something, and plugs the hole in the roof.
She shouldn't have been cooking the souffle right under the hole in the roof, huh?
I mean, if she hadn't been, though, the hole would not be
She
fixed.
shouldn't have been, but she needed to be.
And that's how the episode ends.
Yep. Basically, does she...
Problem solved.
Does it show her giving Boober's hat back? Another part I can't remember.
There must be a little shot on the side when like Moki runs out. She must run back into the hole and is like, here's your cat. That was what a wild adventure we went on today, Boober.
I honestly thought for a second that there'd be like another episode where it was from their point of view, you know? Like,
like the next episode is just a follow-up?
yeah. It'd just be like, we have to go out to the gourd garden. There's a big storm. And then we would like, I don't know. It just felt so
In the
weird.
background, you hear them yelling about the roof.
Yeah.
Well, even though that episode just kind of wrapped up very conveniently for the Gorgs, we did have Doc and Sprocket continuing their adventures. And at the end, Doc was still trying out his dog impression, apparently. And Ned Schimmelfinney said it sounded like a lovesick bullfrog with a toothache. So Doc was,
He just gets
insulted.
mad.
And then Sprocket's voice is just better now.
Yeah. It feels
End
like
of episode.
They usually at least pretend like there's some kind of lesson for them to learn too. And this one feels like it could be in the Playing Till It Hurts one, where he like practiced too hard and he can't talk. But Doc wants him to like go out and do it anyway.
Bizarre. So Sam, what would you rate that extremely odd episode?
I wouldn't say it. Well, I don't remember if it's my least favorite episode of Fraggle. I don't think it is my least favorite episode of Fraggle Rock, but I paused it and I was 10 minutes in and I was like, oh no, which is the first time I've ever done that on this show.
Ooh.
So maybe I'll give it 1 star because, I don't want to, I think I respect this show so much. It feels bad to give it bad reviews.
Right. Like the worst Fraggle Rock is not that bad.
No, the worst Fraggle Rock is so much better than the worst Muppet Show. The worst Muppet Show.
True.
Is racist. So,
and you don't even know which episode we're talking about based on that sentence because it could be multiple episodes.
Some of the best episodes also are racist. So
that's unfortunate.
Problems,
there's definitely episodes, but some of the episodes that are like 80% solid that you wish you could just send to somebody and say, hey, you want a really good episode of the Muppet Show? Watch this. You're gonna have to add
Close your eyes.
But hey. There will be a racist sketch in the middle. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. There will be a giant Confederate flag throughout 100% of this episode.
Yeah.
Anyway. And if you watch this show and it's like, treat everybody the same. And then I guess when you grow up, it's like, it's okay to make fun of every other race. It's fine. What are they trying to teach? You know what I mean? Like when you're a kid, you see these shows. It sounded
like you were just saying
that.
No.
I pretend I'm a nasty man from the 70s making a TV show. And you watch Fraggle Rock as a child, and it's like, yeah, everybody is nice and equal, and everybody has things to contribute. Then you grow up, and it's like, look at these oil sheiks, losers. What's going on with the world, Matt? It's fucked up.
My favorite is when, the people who would, if they watched Back to the Rock now, would be like, ugh, woke Fraggles, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the show Jim Henson invented to stop war.
Yeah.
Like, this show was woke in the 80s, man.
Yeah. Extremely so.
Yeah. Well, the next episode, aired on April 22nd, 1985, is called Playing Till It Hurts, written by Jerry Jewell and directed by Terry Maskell. There's a Muppet Wiki notes in an interview. Karen Prell revealed that the week this episode was shot, an episode featuring Wembley was scheduled to be produced, but instead they had to do this episode because Steve Whitmire had broken a bone in his hand, which I think this came up in another story at one point because I think there was a time when Karen Prell was sick or something and Steve Whitmire had to perform Red for an episode.
Right.
And so this was like, oh, you got me, I got you. We'll help each other out.
Right.
So apparently Jerry Jewell asked Karen Prell if she had any ideas for a storyline, and this one happened, which I understand now how this episode could be a quickly written one, but also there's so many props and new puppets and everything in this episode.
This is an intricate episode.
How did you put this together so quickly?
Yeah. I don't know. And also I could understand, I feel like Red is the most fleshed out Fraggle at this point. And I do feel like maybe Karen Prell just sits around and thinks about Red all the time. And she just had this whole story in her head about a sports injury or something. Or maybe she was inspired by Wembley. The Wembley guy. What's his name? Steve Whitmire.
Steve Whitmire.
And his sports injury. And maybe they had to do the same exact thing to him. And then she was like, because he wanted to be like puppeting, and they're like, your hand's broken. And then she was like, hey, what if that happened on Fraggle Rock?
There was just a really sad Wembley at one point in production where his head was tilted because Steve's hand's broken, but he's trying to fight through the pain.
Yep. Exactly.
The eyes won't roll completely. They just make it halfway.
Yeah,
and he lets out a terrible scream.
The eye rolling mechanism is like the Five Nights at Freddy's or something. That's what crunched his hand up.
Oh. Just twisted his pinky.
Yeah. We got Jigsaw making the puppets now. Good idea.
Well, you mentioned that this was your favorite of the three, I think in your little summaries at the beginning, but I don't know if I agree.
You like the last one better? Or you
I think
like
I like the last one better. This one to me felt like a bit like an episode we've talked about before where you got a problem, you need to get to the solution, but you can't get there too quick.
Yeah.
So let's have the same thing happen a few times.
Yeah. This was
over and
definitely
over.
that. This was also one, like the first one, where I was like, she's still in bed trying to get out of bed and Boober's still yelling at her, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Like there's not a new way for that to go or a new thing to do. It just is sort of like, oh, yep, nope, she's still trying to go to play hockey.
Yeah.
And again, we're doing a podcast. It sounds like I'm more negative about this than I am. I enjoyed all these episodes. Maybe not the first one that much. I enjoyed this episode.
I just really like Red, and I like I liked that, like, the plant guy. What's his name?
Lanford.
Yeah, I like that Lanford was there. It just kind of felt like a nice little slice of life peek into. I don't know. It just felt like cozy to me, I think is what I liked about it.
I think something that threw me off with this episode and the next one,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Dave Goelz is doing something different with Boober.
Boober has changed. I think you're right.
Boober
about
feels
that.
over dramatic a little bit. He's yelling more.
Yeah.
And his personality feels like it's changed in a way where he's not cracking as many like Eeyore type jokes.
Yeah. He's kind of
like
a
the
menace
world's
now.
ending. Yes.
Yeah.
And he pretends to be a doctor or is a doctor at some point and is like yelling about that. And it just feels like
I think
he's
in Fraggle
changed.
Rock world, the line between pretending to be a doctor and being a doctor is non-existent. I think that's not abnormal, but
But no, I think just like it feels like Boober's a little bit more frantic than depressed.
yes, he's got like, Flanderdization. Flanderdizing?
Yeah.
Flander?
Yeah, where they choose
Flanderizing?
one character trait and they're like, that's your personality now.
Yeah. And it's weird because he is like pretending to be the doctor also felt kind of like Bugs Bunny. Like he's got this like weird Bugs Bunny, like he could be anything that the plot requires energy going for him.
Well, there's a couple line deliveries just in these two episodes that sound more like a Gonzo or a World's Oldest Fraggle than a Boober shouting.
Right.
And I don't think it's necessarily like a bad performance. I think it's just, it feels like there's a noticeable change in Boober's behavior.
Yeah. Weird.
That's not necessarily motivated by the situation he's in. Like he's not, like, and I think maybe this started with the weird episode where we thought it was going to be a side bottom episode where he was suddenly a prankster.
Everybody. Yeah.
I don't know. If this was a different kind of show, I'd say this is like a slow burn reveal that Side Bottom has been the Boober for the past 12 episodes.
Right.
And so the season finale is like Boober's locked up in a trunk.
Or they needed like a more definitive, and this would be weird, so weird for an episode, for like a show, but like a more definitive, like we have melded. We are one now. I am a new person, which would be like scary kind of. But
yeah, absolutely. I think that's why it's weirder is because there has been no reason for it.
Yeah.
And it's just like Boober's kind of different now.
Yeah. But it does totally feel like the Vampire Diaries is the only thing I could think of where like at the end of the season, you're like, oh, that makes sense why this person was being such an asshole all season.
They weren't even that person.
Exactly.
Well, at the beginning of this episode, Sprocket has his wrapped up face because he apparently slipped on the porch and fell on his nose trying to greet the new lady basset hound in the neighborhood.
I feel like one of the lessons you learn from Fraggle Rock is being too horny is going to get you in trouble.
And apparently he's given up on the Airedale at the end.
Yeah.
He's moving on to this new lady basset hound. And Doc is going to go chip the ice off the steps to save Sprocket from slipping again. But just as he's about to, he sees Miss Ardath. And he also slips and falls for being too horny.
Yep.
So the lessons of Fraggle Rock: don't do war, don't be too horny.
Yep, exactly.
Well, Red receives a letter in this episode that comes across like a fan letter. It's sort of like one of those unraveling things where you're just like, I don't really know what's going on. Give me a minute to catch up here. Because she starts reading this letter from somebody who's like, hey, I heard you're really good at rock hockey. Great job. I'm going to come watch you play rock hockey. You're like, okay, so this is a fan of hers. But no, it's Rock Hockey Hannah, who's apparently famous for inventing rock hockey.
Of rock hockey herself.
Muppet Wiki, I think, describes her as somebody who is known for watching rock hockey.
Oh.
So I don't know
No.
if she's supposed to be a player or not. I think this is the only instance of Rock Hockey Hannah existing. So I don't think we learn more about it. But I think describing her as a person who is famous for watching rock hockey is a weird way to describe her.
I would say the intention was that she invented rock hockey by playing.
Right.
And wasn't
That is
sitting in
my-
the stands being like, what? I have an idea for a game.
Yeah. Hey, you do this. And then you do that.
Yeah.
No, I assumed she was a player back in the day who
She got the
invented the
gruff
game.
demeanor of a hockey player as well. So.
She's a weird character. We'll get to her a bit more. But we get to Gobo, who's coaching hockey practice, preparing for the game between the Gobo Gorg Busters against the Rumple Roustabouts.
He kind of reminded me of Emilio Estevez's character in Mighty Ducks before he turns, before he meets the children. He's so
But
mad.
he's the shitty lawyer driving in the limo.
He's just such a jerk in this episode, you know? I guess he was, I forgot he was a lawyer and not a hockey coach.
He wasn't a hockey coach.
He just seems like he'd be the bad guy hockey coach in a movie, you know? He's just so mad
He'd be
at
a bit more like
everybody.
Kurt Russell in Miracle.
Yes,
He's just blowing the whistle over and over. Like, again!
exactly.
Well, they are still skating on greaseberry leaves like we've seen them do in the past.
Yeah.
And this one, suddenly we just get a Red song out of nowhere. She starts singing Chase the Wind, which is all about her being extra good tomorrow because she's feeling the pressure of Rock Hockey Hannah coming to watch her. But she loses her focus during the song and ends up getting hurt, crashing into some sort of weird bamboo structure.
It's like
I
a
don't-
Quidditch pole or something. It's
Yeah, I'm not really
weird.
sure why it's there. It could have easily just been a doozer tower, but
Yeah.
this thing is there and it falls on her, and now she's hurt her leg.
I liked this as an inciting incident. I feel like sometimes the show can get a little weird with their inciting incidents, but I think this was like a good one.
Oh yeah, and I think that's the thing is like this whole storyline I love. I think it
Yeah.
works absolutely like great for Fraggle Rock. I think the inciting incident works. It is just that middle segment where you're like, oh, you can't. The show's 25 minutes. You got to go 25 minutes. So let's extend this middle segment a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's a
Maybe it
part
needed
where
a
they
beep.
almost do something that I thought could extend it longer and could be really weird and interesting, and they just immediately backtrack on it, which we'll get to. But Boober puts Red's wrong leg in a splint when he's trying to be a doctor, but he is trying to help her relax, which is the key of this episode.
That's another thing is like he's incompetent now, and he didn't used to be incompetent.
Yes, he's not a good doctor at all. Like this would make more sense. I feel like if Wembley was trying to be the first aid guy.
Right.
But she wants Boober to leave, so she requests some lemon rind tea, which will apparently make him leave. But he comes back pretty quickly to stop her from running away, and he also brought an Uncle Matt postcard. We get a lot of really ham-fisted Uncle Traveling Matt postcards in this batch.
It honestly makes me feel really bad for the people who have to go out and shoot these things. Like whatever like B team or whatever that is.
Yeah.
It's like
I wonder if these are the ones where they start going, we gotta fix this, which I know in season 4 they solved the problem.
Interesting. But yeah, I mean, to like watch the show after you went to the mall and was like, this sucked. Like I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to fly to Australia and shoot at a lot of these things. To have the characters go, here's something that sucks ass. It must be like,
Right? Yeah.
come on.
And then you watch it and you're like, yeah, it does
It was
suck
bad,
ass.
okay? You wrote it.
It's like the opposite of like when a character tells you, I'm about to say a joke so funny, you're going to laugh your ass off. And then they say, it, you're like, well, that was all right, but I didn't laugh my ass off. So maybe don't like tell me I'm going to laugh my ass off. But in this case, if you tell me I'm going to be bored and then I see this, I'm like, I guess, yeah, you're right.
You're right.
I kind of was bored.
I'm coming into it expecting this to suck. Yep.
And in this one, Uncle Traveling Matt is in a large cave filled with objects, which is a museum. And he's in the Egyptian wing of the museum. And he sees a mummy who is all bandaged up, who he assumes is a silly creature in the hospital that got hurt by playing rock hockey because rock hockey is a dangerous game.
And then he falls down the stairs for some reason.
Yeah. After making a bunch of really wild assumptions about this mummy,
Yeah.
he just falls down the stairs.
And that's the end. He should have unwrapped the mummy's head and been like, oh.
He's like grabbing the bandage and then falls down the stairs.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to see the mummy to know what just happened.
Oh, yeah, that would
But
be
you-
cool.
You know Uncle Traveling Matt just unraveled the mummy.
Yes, I've peered Gobo into the grim visage of death. I'm forever changed.
Well, after this, Red falls out of her apartment window.
Well, she's trying to get out of the bed, and she sleeps in
Yeah.
a hammock, and Boober's trying to stop her, and he slingshots her out of her window.
And then
Not
he
very
later
Boobery behavior.
No, but he later says that she jumped out the window.
Yeah.
So he doesn't even realize he
He's
did anything wrong.
He's a liar, too.
But she falls out of her apartment window and rolls right into the goal in a nice little bit of puppetry where they just balled up a puppet and rolled it like a bowling ball.
Yeah, that was cool. And it was like, you saw the floor of Fraggle Rock in a way that you don't normally see, which I thought was really like...
That's
man,
true, yeah. They don't often
there's the
have to go
ground.
down to the floor.
Yeah.
But she hurts herself even more, of course, because she fell out of her apartment window.
Out of a window.
Doc is explaining to Sprocket that he hurt his ankle while waving at Betty. Miss Ardath.
Is that the first time we've got her first name? Probably not.
It
Maybe it is.
I don't. Yeah, it's exactly how I felt. I was like, probably not, but it felt like it was the first time we were hearing her name because he didn't mean to call her anything but Miss Ardath. When he says he'll be wrapped up for a week, but it's dinner time, and he can't reach the dog food.
This is troubling to me because how long is Sprocket not going to eat for?
Yeah, he says it's okay because Sprocket can't eat anyways. But
That's a problem.
there's solutions to this problem.
Yeah. You need to get this dog an IV drip or something.
Yeah, I guess the solution is don't let Sprocket eat for a week.
For at least a week.
Well, down in Fraggle Rock, this plot just keeps going.
Yeah.
Once again, Red is bandaged up in her hammock. I feel like maybe this episode could benefit from a trash heap or a gorg segment to spice things up.
Yeah, it needed a B plot about,
Yeah.
or just another character involved or something.
Yeah, maybe just even let, Red needs to go to the trash heap to ask for advice, or while she's running away or something like that, she ends up bumping into another character who gives her advice or something. I don't really know. I don't want to I don't want to say what they should have done on this great show 40 years ago.
Or put some
Too
stakes
much.
on the hockey game with Gobo or like Gobo and I don't remember who the other coach is. They have like a rivalry. Maybe there just needed to be another scene. Where
Yeah,
it's
I'm
like,
guessing Rumpel because the other team is named
Rumple.
after
That's who it
Rumpel,
was.
and this
Yeah,
team is
right.
named after Gobo.
Yeah.
But this is the part where I thought, I think they're going to do something weird here, because Red's about to sneak out and leaves a great-looking fake Red,
Yeah.
like dummy, in the bed behind. And so as she goes to sneak out, Boober's coming in and goes, I forgot to check your pulse before I left. And I was like, Boober's going to think Red's dead and go tell the other Fraggles, Red's dead, everybody.
That would really derail
she's
the
dead.
episode in a big way.
Yes, but it would have been something, Sam.
I thought maybe you were gonna say they were gonna like Weekend at Bernie's the dummy somehow. Boober's like, I've committed malpractice. I must make everyone believe that
I
she's
can't let
okay."
everyone know I killed Red. Oh, look, Red's fine, everyone.
Yeah.
She can still play hockey, look. But no, briefly, he thinks she slipped into a coma. And, it's pretty quickly afterwards discovered because Moki bumps into Red, brings Red back into the apartment.
Yeah, like 30 seconds later. So
Yeah, and this is when Boober yells, I have been bamboozled, and storms out
you
angry.
threw her out a window, bro. So you don't really get to be mad.
Yeah.
This part was galling because of how fast Moki just comes back with Red. Was like,
Mm-hmm. That's the thing,
Yeah.
like, let Boober think Red was in a coma for a minute.
yeah.
Like, let him tell somebody else. Let it impact the game. Let it be
Let him
a
discover
story.
at the end of the episode and he could just be like, woo, faint or something. I don't know. Just have him freak out for most of it. But
Yeah. But nope, that's not what happens. So Moki says, you know what, I'm going to go stay with Lou for the night so you can get some sleep, Red. Which was interesting just to, like, factor in of like, Moki has other friends outside of the
Yeah.
normal Fraggle
they brought
5.
back a lot of characters in this one.
Yeah, we see Tosh, we see Feeny, we see Lou, who Lou is the one that Moki tried to set Wembley up with. It was like, you
Right.
two are in love. And they're like, maybe we're just friends, though.
Yeah. We see Rumpel, of course,
Hmm.
for a moment. Yeah.
But this leads to another Red song about how no one else could possibly understand how she feels. It's called Lonely as Can Be. And then after that, she has a creepy dream where she's locked up in a cell and Rock Hockey Hannah is calling her a quitter
Yeah.
and says, when it hurts real bad, you got to play real good.
She does kind of conflate a dream with reality in a way that was a little bit confounding but like she wakes up thinking that. Well, I guess Fraggle share dreams. So maybe you could be unsure of if you are actually being psychically communicated with.
Yeah, Rock Hockey Hannah was on her way there and was like, I got to give her a heads up before I get there.
Yeah.
Zoom, 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 zoom. Let her know in her dream.
Every Fraggle and Fraggle Rock had that same dream, and they all woke up and they're like, what the fuck was that?
Who's that person? I do love meeting a character in a dream. That's an interesting way to meet a character.
Yeah, and she looks.
The whole
exactly
premise of like with humans that no one in your dream is actually a face you haven't seen before. That like you only populate dreams with faces you've actually seen, even if you don't remember them.
Yeah.
This feels like, well, you've never met Rock Hockey Hannah, and suddenly you're imagining what it is like.
You've dreamed her perfectly as well. This is exactly what she looks like.
Back in the real non-dream world, the game is about to begin. We get to see Feeny Fraggle again, who we haven't seen in a while, I don't think. And this is definitely the biggest part he's had so far.
What else has he done?
He was Large Marvin's friend in the one episode where for some reason they're shown like coming over to Gobo and Wembley's apartment.
Right.
They were definitely just like an exposition plot device where they're like,
he's been
hey,
in a
we're
lot of
stopping by.
episodes. Right.
Yeah, he's in a lot of them, but this is the most he's had a character. And the most that I realized, oh, he's a Jerry Nelson character and he's talking to Gobo. That's interesting. But Red tries to sneak in and Gobo once again tells her to go home. And as on her way out, she bumps into Feeny in his goalie uniform and realizes, hey, no one knows who's inside that goalie uniform. And I thought, oh shit, Red's gonna beat up Feeny and steal his uniform.
That's what I thought. Yeah, she was gonna like do a James Bond thing to him. Luckily,
like,
Feeny
hey,
just
Feeny,
doesn't.
Look over there. Bonk.
Luckily, Feeny just doesn't like to play rock hockey.
Yeah, he tries to tell Gobo before the game, like, hey, I don't really know the rules of rock hockey. Can I not play? So yeah, he is just happy to trade and be like, thank you, Red, for taking my spot in the game. I'm going to go tell everyone you're playing instead of me. And she's like, don't do that. That's not the point.
I did think it was delightful that Red is clearly the only one who takes it any remotely seriously and is any good at it.
She gets a penalty for that in the game.
Yeah.
She gets a penalty for unnecessary seriousness.
Yeah. And the punishment is everyone looking at her and going, naughty, naughty, naughty.
Yeah, she gets 4 naughties is the punishment. And it also is Wembley plays the ref in that scene and walks up and says, if it's okay with you, I have to call a penalty on you.
Yeah, that was great. I love
Very sweet.
Their society is so fleshed out so nicely.
That's the thing is I like so many of the weird details in this episode. I think just not the story overall, like the way it's executed.
Right. That's kind of a Jerry Jewell thing, though. Like,
yeah, it's true.
He's got a lot of episodes where the plot by the end you're kind of like, what? But also along the way you've like learned so much about this weird world, which is so fun. I love that.
And you get fun little moments, like there's a Doozer moment in this. It's just like a transition from scene to scene, and the Doozers are seemingly like drinking coffee. They're just like sitting there, and one goes, smooth, and the other one goes, greasy. And this is when Rock Hockey Hannah shows up. Everyone's immediately impressed.
They want to throw her a parade. She was right.
But again, the weird, lovely details. There's a hockey organ player at the game.
That was great.
Which is great. Wembley's the ref, dressed up in a nice little ref outfit.
Mm-hmm. The organ player was a moment where I thought they could have had a fun like Doc and Sprocket thing where they go back up and the organ's playing and Doc's like, the hell is that?
The pipes are making more weird noises or something.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier Lanford is there, and it's very sweet because he's there cheering them on, and he even yells, play ball at one point.
He's there for Red. They're the best friends now.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's there before Moki gets subbed in. So
that's true. He just likes rock hockey.
There's also the one Fraggle, Choo Choo. I hated Choo Choo.
Choo Choo, is a star player on the other opposing team who, for plot reasons, has to have teeth, which is upsetting.
Big teeth that stick right out of his head and a giant tongue that unfurls every time he opens his mouth, which is unnecessary.
Well, Red is playing poorly and starting to feel woozy, so this is really poor form on Red's side. And this is when she gets the penalty called on her for unnecessary seriousness because she is getting angry and woozy and just messing up this entire game.
Stick. Yeah.
They're not playing well. People keep scoring goals and touchdowns on her. And then Red hurts her other leg in one of these tussles, gets dizzy again, knocks out Choo Choo's teeth, which is why he needs teeth. And so Choo Choo gets a penalty shot. And this is when Choo Choo goes to take the penalty shot is when Red admits finally, hey, I was pretending. Sorry, guys. And this is when, of course, Rock Hockey Hannah jumps in and says, wait, you were doing this because of me? We don't do that. I'm proud that you're quitting. You should know when to quit. Quit when you're ahead, or whatever the lesson is here.
Yeah. When you hurt real bad, you got to quit real fast.
Yeah, which I
That's
guess
what
is
it says.
fair information.
Then Red says, how did you know what you said in my dream? Oh, I guess she says it first. She says, when you're hurt real bad, you got to play real
Right.
good. Right. Right.
But then the end of this plot is Rock Hockey Hannah going, the game is a draw.
Yeah. At which point the other team should say, hey,
what
wait
the
a
fuck?
minute.
No. Like, we were winning, and then the other team just stopped playing, and then you said, all right, it's a tie. Like,
Not
if
fair.
anything, it was a forfeit.
This is an outrage. Yeah, exactly. There should have been, I feel like I don't know. It wouldn't have been bad necessarily if there had been like a downside to her playing hurt or something.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is they were losing. They were playing
Yeah.
poorly. They weren't doing well because she was playing so bad. Not to say Feeney would have been better. He obviously doesn't know the rules. But like, yeah, there was no, at the end of the day, there wasn't a downside.
Nope. And then Sprocket doesn't starve to death because Doc makes him soup. But drinking dog food out of a straw made me feel disgusting to think about.
I mean, if it's the right kind of wet food, you could get some
I know.
brothy kind of stuff in there. But the chunks aren't going to come up.
Think about.
Mm,
And then if
yeah.
it does, it's just like a solid it's like
Ugh.
poop through an intestine or something. Anyway, and then all of a sudden Doc's like, I got to go to work now. Never mind.
Well, yeah, he decides to go to work, and then snow blows in the door. He's like, fuck that. I'm staying here for another week.
Jerry's like, we got to tie this in, I guess, to the rest of the plot. I really like that. I think that one was really fun. I give that one a 3. Because, it did have, have some weird issues, but what you going to do?
Well, the last episode of this batch is from April 29th, 1985. It's called Bored Stiff, written by Jocelyn Stevenson, directed by George Bloomfield. This one also feels a bit weird,
Yeah.
and to me felt a bit like a series finale.
Oh. Because
The relationship between the Gorgs and the Fraggles changes so dramatically in this episode that I'm like, how do you go forward from here?
Well, I think the very last line that Junior has, where he's like, I saved you because I want to thump you so bad. That almost feels like a reset.
Yes, but can we ever do a Ma is afraid of Fraggles
Oh, sure.
thing
That's
again? Or Pa violently trying to kill them
true.
again?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it feels like, it just feels a little weird as far as,
You're right.
like, what plot lines can you have between the Gorgs and the Fraggles now that everyone knows the relationship and how it, like, they're like, oh, well, okay, Junior doesn't really want to kill us, so I guess we're okay. He wants to thump us, which would suck,
Yeah.
but it's interesting. I'm interested to see where it goes from here.
Well, we did have Ma say it's a crime, it's a sin to hurt any living thing, and she's really taking an about face on that. So maybe they'll just pretend like it never happened.
Well, she also has always sort of been against really hurting the Fraggles. She hates them, but she's always kind of been down on the idea of just, killing them.
But when they take over fucking Rock, then that's a different story.
Yeah, let's get into it. But thankfully, before we get to fucking Rock, we get Doc, who was apparently had a visit from Mr. Wiley, the health inspector, who apparently checks on random old men's workshops.
Well, I think if you have a health inspector coming to your private home, then you have a real problem.
Ned narked on Doc.
Yeah.
was like, this dude clearly has some vermin problems.
And the health inspector says you have a big hole in your wall that is possibly full of rats that are spreading disease, which means that there is something spreading disease if it got Mr. Wiley's attention, don't you think?
I mean, yeah, because they say he's harboring vermin and potentially harming the neighborhood.
Right.
Which I guess there must be some evidence of. Doc decides, you know what? Maybe there is something undesirable living behind that hole. And he promised to catch the vermin. So he's going to build a trap like the trap he used to catch the rabid ocelot from the zoo.
That was an interesting line. What could that mean? Is he giving the ocelot to the zoo? They had a rabid ocelot running rampant in the zoo or in the town?
I imagined it escaped from the zoo.
Right. Why couldn't he
And-
just say that escaped ocelot? Why did it have to be rabid?
Because he had to justify killing it.
Did he? Is that what the
He
trap
doesn't say
does?
he did, but he does say later that he's going to kill a Fraggle.
Oh, gosh.
Or
you're
implies that he's going to kill whatever he traps.
right. He
so
caught the
in my
ocelot.
head,
it
he
wasn't
killed the
rabid.
ocelot.
Yeah. He was like, you should have seen this thing foaming at the mouth.
Well, down in Fraggle Rock, Gobo is going to take Wembley on an adventure. But first, they have to stop at the Gorg's Garden for provisions. And they bump into the saddest looking trio of Moki, Red, and Boober.
I thought this was like they were already bored and this was like an epidemic that was coming to
Oh.
get everybody because they are uncharacteristic. They are in a bad state.
They seem like, didn't you hear? World's oldest Fraggle died. Like,
Yeah.
they seem like they're about to break really bad news
Uh-huh.
to Gobo and Wembley, which I guess they are. But the absolute best part of this scene is when they first walk up. Gobo goes, "Hi, Red," and Wembley goes, "Hi, Moki." And then there's an awkward pause, and Boober goes, "Hi, Boober."
I didn't catch that at all. Oh no.
It's so good. I watched it twice because I was like, that was so good. There's no way they actually did that great joke. And so I
I'm gonna
watched it
go
again. I was
back
like,
and
oh,
watch
yeah.
it.
It's very good
That's
because
hilarious.
Gobo says hi to Red. Wembley says hi to Moki. Nobody says hi to Boober. So he just waits and goes, "Hi, Boober."
That's so sad. Now that's the classic Boober we need.
Yeah, that's perfect Boober. Turns out they are sad because the Gorgs are by the hole. And so they can't get out of the hole because the Gorgs have been there for a long time.
Being so annoying. And then it's like, that's the problem. You couldn't go
Yes.
have a picnic. It's not even like we're all gonna starve to death. They're just like, we couldn't go have a
Mm-mm.
picnic.
Yeah, no. It wasn't that like we'll never be able to get radishes again.
Yeah.
It was we had a planned day to do a picnic and now we can't do it, which would suck, if you couldn't go have the picnic
I
you wanted.
suppose,
But
but they have it's like why do they have to go outside to eat that food? Why can't they have like beautiful places
do
in
you
the
not
cave they can
enjoy
go in.
picnics, Sam?
Well, they could go on the cave has like Fraggle Rock basically also has wilderness they could go into.
Mm,
But I guess I don't
that's
know.
true.
I don't know.
Well, up in the Gorg world, Pa is chasing Ma around the garden.
They're
And
grab assing. They're
Really,
really
as Junior says, they've been coochie cooing all day.
yeah, I love how disgusted Junior is, which is totally valid.
Yeah, this isn't just like a, I hate to see my parents kiss kind of thing. This is like, hey, stop it. That's
I don't need
inappropriate
to
in
see
public.
this. I don't need to see this. Yeah.
So they kick it off with a song, a terrible, terrible love song to each other called The Ways I Love You. And they get mad at Junior anytime he interrupts them.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of fun.
And Junior keeps trying to make a bunch of noise with the garden tools and stuff to interrupt them and distract them from coochie cooing. And this is when Ma reminds us that Fraggle Rock is also Kissing Rock. And this is when she drops that line about, this is the place where we first,
Ugh.
Yeah, which
Why is
does
this
not
a
help.
necessary bit of lore?
Well, does not also help her case. Junior is even more disgusted now.
Yeah.
And continues to interrupt them with noise. And then suddenly he just finds some boredom juice, as you do. It really kicks the plot into high gear.
Boredom
he
juice
finds
that is specifically called out as a pesticide, which is like
Yes.
what?
It's boredom juice to get rid of garden pests by boring them. They don't say to death. They just say bored stiff.
Boring them until they don't move for long enough that they starve to death.
Yeah, I guess so is the
suppose.
plan.
Yeah.
They don't move ever again, which they don't say is death, but we all know. And Junior finds out what an antidote is because he's trying to read the word off the tag on the bottle. And they explain to him that it's a cure. And he's like, okay, I'll put this tag in my
I'll
shoe.
Put it in my shoe. All right.
Yeah, no real reason, but it does come up later, obviously. Pa gets mad the Fraggles have infested the Kissing Rock and vows to get rid of all of them with the boredom juice that Junior just found. And this is when he lays out what happens. He says it'll make them bored stiff. It's painless, but effective. And Junior and Ma both protest.
Oh, Ma does too?
I think she's a little on the fence. Junior is the one though who shouts, "You can't do that!"
Yeah.
And for some reason, I was a little taken back that he didn't want Pa to do this. But I don't know. It seemed like out of character for Junior to stop Pa, which obviously is the payoff
like,
to this episode.
Was a step too far.
Right.
Yeah. I thought that was the most engaging, like that was the most interesting part of the episode. I thought that Junior really didn't want to do it, and like focusing it maybe more on Junior's case for not wanting to do it would have made for like a heavier episode, but also like a more meaningful, like what does it mean to use pesticide? Like what does it mean to kill things that are supposed to be there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they have the resources to make the Gorgs have that heavy and that prolonged of a storyline about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would have been as interesting as it. The idea of you saying it sounds interesting.
Right.
I don't know if the execution would have been as interesting.
I don't know how they would do that in 22 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
But.
Well, down at Fraggle Rock, thankfully Red isn't worried because she says that Fraggles are never bored. And Moki says that they couldn't be bored even if they tried. And so they do try with an Uncle Traveling Matt postcard.
Another extremely insulting thing where they're like the ultimate test of boredom. This thing a bunch of people probably worked really hard on.
Muppet Wiki notes, by the way, that in the episode Moki's funeral, Red says that she was bored while waiting for Moki. And later in that episode, all 4 of the other Fraggles claim that Moki's poems were really boring.
Yeah, I do think that they have mentioned that they feel like they'd be easily bored. Like they always have to be thinking of something to do or else they'll be bored.
Yeah.
Which I suppose is kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, but they're bored easily.
Yeah. But the Uncle Traveling Matt postcard is him in a large cave with beautiful treasures, which is a department store perfume counter.
I feel like he's getting dumber and dumber. Like he's learned he's like forgotten more about outer space than he's learned by being there, you know?
This is also one of the least this almost goes back to like when he was trying to like follow the fisherman who had the nets and it just kind of went nowhere.
Right.
Cuz he gets sprayed by the perfume counter lady and thinks that she's trying to kill him. But then decides that, oh no, I think she was just trying to make friends. And then he walks around the mall smelling bad and everyone is like repulsed.
You stink. But it's perfume that he stinks like, right? But everyone's like holding their nose and like, ugh. And
if they maybe had a moment where he like put the whole bottle on or something like that, maybe it would make more sense.
Or if he had been stinky first and everybody was like, this little guy stinks. And then he got
which he would. You know he
That's
smells
exactly
terrible.
what I was, when she sprayed it, I was like, is his natural stink and the perfume mixing together badly? Probably.
Maybe it's become toxic.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason this scene is here is so that he can say the line, funny how someone can hurt you when they're only trying to make friends. Which
is that applicable to the episode?
I guess kind of Junior.
Sure, but Junior helps them only, right?
Well, but he also wants to thump them and I guess is partially responsible for Pa knowing about the boredom juice, and it's very, very thinly tied together. Yeah. But that must be the reason that Uncle Traveling Matt postcard is there, because that line is he says it doesn't make any sense in the context of him. So it must make some sort of sense outside of him.
Yeah.
But it does make Moki think that they should just try to talk to them, because she remembers that she kind of became friends with Junior before and says that the Junior kind of likes us.
Yep. A rare instance of them remembering something that happened.
And before they head out there, Boober is like, hey, I would rather not do this. So can I leave? And Gobo's like, yeah, you go tell the other Fraggles to stay far away from this tunnel so they don't get affected by the boredom spray.
Kind of a weird part that doesn't pay off, does it?
It felt like Dave Goelz was going to have like something else to do.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it just like, it was weird that they were just like, Boober, leave now.
I thought Boober would be immune to it. Because he'd be like, I'm always bored. Or like, I love to be bored, you know?
Maybe Dave Goelz was like, wait, so you want me to stand there not really puppeteer anything for like a half hour and then just occasionally go, boring. He's like, that sounds dull. I don't want to do that. Can I
I'm
go?
pulling
And they were like,
seniority.
yeah, sure. We'll write that into the episode that you just get to leave for some reason. But this was another moment. There's again, I don't remember exactly, but there's something about Boober's performance in this scene with Gobo that just felt like the performance has changed a little bit in the way
Yeah.
Boober is behaving.
Yeah. He's
Like, he's
also
got
almost like
bigger.
Daffy Duck, kind of.
Yeah.
He's like Daffy Duck in that he is craven and incompetent and always looking for a way out of something.
Which maybe he like listened to some motivational tapes and is finally like taking back
I have to
his
learn how to say
personhood.
no.
Right.
But I'm honestly now I'm thinking maybe it is because somebody said Boober would love to be bored, you know? And they were like,
Right.
oh, I can't get him sprayed then.
We got to get him out of here.
Yeah.
Well, Pa shows Junior how to use the sprayer for the boredom juice. And Red, Wembley, and Moki all get affected by the spray and all get bored stiff. And we get to see a little human moment from Junior who looks into the hole and goes, oh no,
Yeah.
as he sees what he's just done.
It's horrible.
Doc's trap is set up back in Doc's world, and he tells Sprocket that whatever they catch, they have to get rid of. And he does a throat slitting motion. And Sprocket does it back and goes like, oh?
Uh-huh. Because
And he's
Sprocket
like-
remembers that he's friends with the Fraggles too.
Yeah, this is when Sprocket's like, oh shit, we're going to kill whatever we catch?
My little homie. All my little homies.
And this is when Sprocket starts whimpering, and we learn he's against the idea of killing the Fraggles too, just like
Yeah.
Junior.
This episode is so close to being about something really interesting.
Yeah. And I think it turns out interesting, but it just doesn't, I don't know.
I mean, it pivots at the end to being about silly dances. So
That's true. So Doc leaves because he wants to go to Ned's. I don't remember why.
just
But
he
he-
doesn't really say. I think he just wants to go chill, hang out with his buddy Ned.
Yeah. But Sprocket says he wants to stay behind to watch the trap. But really, he breaks the trap as soon as Doc walks out the door.
You know,
Back in Fraggle Rock, Gobo tries to unbore the three Fraggles who were bored stiff. This is done in vain, and Junior is struggling with whether or not he wants to spray the Fraggles at all. So, like Sprocket, defanging the trap, he throws out the boredom juice, deciding he does not want to kill them. He even says, they won't be able to get my Fraggles, which is a very telling line. And then as Gobo runs out, Junior's like, hey, Fraggle! Clearly he just wants to talk to him, but Gobo, very stupidly, walks away right to the flower, right where Junior just dumped all of the
Yeah.
boredom juice.
and he's like, I want to smell this flower.
Does his little Popeye noise.
It felt to me like that was written into the script, but the person who wrote it didn't like give them instructions for what to do. And then they were like, we got to make this look hilarious. And they workshopped that little thing.
Yeah, it's I guess when you introduce something as weird as boredom juice, you're like, it has to do something real weird to him.
Right. It has to read as something happening. We can't just
Yeah.
die. Maybe it was
Yeah.
more like, we can't just die. So
Yeah, because when you do have puppets sitting completely stiff, not
Yeah.
moving, they do look very dead.
Yep.
And never have they looked more like puppets than when they're just sitting there.
Just like straightened up. Like, yeah, you're right.
Well, Junior wants to unbore Gobo, pulls out the cure from his shoe, and it turns out the cure is a song and dance while wearing a bowl on your head.
Pretty cute song. I like the song.
Yeah, it's called Whoops, Feeling Better. And it's maybe my favorite Junior song that we've had.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's right.
And when he wraps up, Gobo is awake and says, that's the most interesting thing I've ever experienced. And Gobo and Junior talk about the predicament they're in. And in the middle of that, Gobo says, oh no, I could be the last of the Fraggles.
Oh,
Which seems like that could not possibly be true. You know that most likely only the three Fraggles you saw are the ones who are bored stiff.
yeah. I guess it is. It's not really unclear, but I guess I don't know. They could have implied that all the Fraggles got bored stiff. I don't know why they didn't. But
It'd be like me waking up on a Saturday morning and my wife had taken the dog out for a walk and I go, I might be
I
the
could be
last
the
human alive.
human. And since the dog's gone, you could be the last living thing.
Yeah. The last living thing on earth. Well, Gobo wisely suggests that Junior teach him the song and dance, but Junior, for some reason,
This part
It's
was
like-
really confusing to me.
it felt like a plot like thing that they didn't know how to solve.
Yeah, like we can't have Junior needs to fall asleep, but we can't have him refuse to teach Gobo the dance before he falls asleep, even though it makes more sense for him to refuse to teach Gobo to do the dance before Gobo helps him.
Yeah,
You know?
no, it's very odd. And because Junior's just like, no, if I do that and it works, Pa will just find another way to kill you. And it's like, yeah, but you could still try. Like, you could still do the song and dance and save them and then run away or something.
Right.
Like, that's another problem that is hypothetical. You don't have to solve that one by not solving this one.
Yeah. Pa already doesn't remember what he did earlier, so this is fine.
Yeah. He's off grab-assing.
Yeah. I mean, literally, I think they're off having sex in this moment.
This is the presence to be in your pleasure line. But Junior admits that he doesn't want the Fraggles to be bored stiff because he wants to continue playing with them.
Right.
Because if he didn't, then he'd get bored and he'd die.
So then he wants Gobo to help him do what?
No, Junior says, like, I can't teach you the song and dance because my dad's going to kill you anyways, so it doesn't matter. So let's not even try. And then says, but I don't want Dad to kill you because then I'd be bored and I'd die. And then my parents would be sad that I died. It's a very weird line to walk, but that gives Gobo the idea to go, oh, your parents would be sad if you died. That gives me an idea.
But then Junior does teach him the dance also.
Yeah. So then Gobo says to Junior that he should die out of boredom to freak his parents out. And he's like, great idea. Fade. Now I'll teach you the song and dance for some reason, even though I wasn't gonna before.
Yeah.
And while he's teaching him, Pa and Ma come back. And this is when Junior begins his performance of dying, which is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And says, goodbye, cruel world. If I could only see one Fraggle, just one. And then he fake falls, but of course falls right near the flower.
Yeah.
And actually gets bored stiff.
I like Gobo standing there being like, no, you idiot.
So Gobo goes to do the song and dance, but forgot a bowl on his head. So he goes back to get the bowl from the radishes that was for the picnic.
Another inconsequential part. He could have done that first or
Yeah.
something.
And so Gobo goes and gives a full-hearted performance of the song. It works, turns into a lovely duet between
like that
Junior
too,
and Gobo. And this is the moment where I was like, oh, this is where it feels like a series finale because Gobo and Junior are singing a song together. The other Fraggles wake up and they all come out.
Ma and Pa are singing and dancing in the background.
They all learn that the Gorgs and Fraggles can help each other.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this felt like I was like, where do you go from here?
Right.
But Junior is there to remind us that if there weren't any Fraggles around, who would I have to thump?
Pretty good ending, I think. He's really not learned anything. He just wants to do violence his own way.
Yes. He does not want them to be dead. So they really, the problem is they don't tell him that there is a never-ending sea of Fraggles underneath that rock because then he would have no problem with killing these four.
That's a good point.
Because he's like,
Yeah, they
oh,
need to keep
there's
that a
other
secret.
Fraggles that will come out of that hole eventually.
I've seen these 5 guys, so that must be it. Really, there's hundreds. I'd be horrified. I'd be horrified to know how many there really are. Same with Doc. If those Fraggles started pouring out of that hole in his workshop, they're knee high to us.
Yeah.
That would be a problem. That would be
It's like how
terrifying.
if you see a roach in your house, that means you've got like 10,000 roaches in your house or whatever. It's like just like that with Fraggles. Well, speaking of Doc, Doc comes back, sees the trap is sprung, and says that rat was big enough to spring the trap and run away. And Sprocket's like, yeah, man, that was wild. So he resets the trap and goes to leave. This time he's going to Elmer's, which is apparently a store, because he needs to buy some milk. And Sprocket's going to break the trap again, but this time Doc catches him. And Doc learns that Sprocket doesn't want to trap anything, but also then equates this to that means there's nothing horrible behind the wall at all. Because look.
Yeah, that's a weird deduction to make. I think that would actually mean that there's something definitely back there that your dog's friends with.
Yeah. Not that like, well, since nothing set off the trap but you, Sprocket, there must not be any giant rats at all.
And Sprocket's like, good thing you're stupid, or this would have been the rest of my life.
But Sam, what would you rate that episode of Fraggle Rock?
That was a weird episode, isn't it?
A little bit weird.
I guess I'd give it 2 stars because it's just like almost nothing. And I'm a little mad that it wasn't more about like, I feel like in the early days of Fraggle Rock, they were a little less afraid to make a really dark episode, and they don't do that as much as they used to.
Right.
Like the
Yeah,
one,
we don't ever
the
actually
School for
think.
Explorers was kind of dark because Gobo was being such a jerk. But like nobody, and they were about to die, but it wasn't like when they're sealed in the cave about to die.
Well, it also only lasted like a minute that you thought they
Right.
might die in that one.
Right.
Versus in the cave one where it's like the entire episode, you're like, they are preparing for death.
Yeah. A little bit more of the weighing the like, what does it mean to, I don't know, to like kill a native species? I don't know how they do it, but like they dance around it, obviously. Like that's what they are sort of talking about, like, but not really. And then they just start dancing and wearing bowls on their heads at the end. It's like, forget all that stuff. So 2 stars. An okay batch. This was one of the first batches where I was like, oh man, I got to keep watching this stuff, huh?
Yeah, I think the Leaking Roof was a bad first one to watch.
Yeah,
I think if I had watched the Rock Hockey one first, I'd be like, yeah, this is fine. But watching Leaking Roof and then knowing I had to watch 2 more episodes was a little bit like, I hope they're not like that one. Well, that usually would mean it's time for our Muppet of the Week. But
you're plumb out, huh?
I'm just a slight pause on the segment while we're doing some Fraggle Rock episodes until we get another interesting Fraggle to discuss. Because, I mean, the storyteller and convincing John, I felt like we're the bottom of the barrel as far as Fraggle Rock Muppets went. So until we got some more Muppets to talk about.
Lou Fraggle exists.
Right. That's pretty much it. So for now, slight pause on our Muppet of the Week. So that means, Sam, I must ask, what non-Muppet things have you been enjoying this week?
I didn't really watch too much stuff, but I did watch Galaxy Quest. Speaking of Tim the Toolman Taylor. And it is hard to watch that stuff and think like, that guy's such a dickhead. But people knew he was that back then too, I think. But that's a good movie. You seen that movie lately?
Not lately, unfortunately. It's one of those, it's always, I'll see somebody talk about it online about how great it is. And I'm like, I should rewatch that. And I never do.
It's one of those where it's also like, this was made in that period of time where this could be really, there could be some bad stuff in this. Like we're in our movie club, we just pick, not random movies, but we pick some weird ones, and we watched Click recently.
Yeah.
And that movie you can't watch that movie anymore.
No? I mean,
there's some nasty things in that movie, like from a sociological standpoint.
Right. I feel like that movie was good, though. I thought my memory of Click is that it was a good movie.
You are right that movie was thought of as, because it's kind of like, it's ambitious and it is hypothetically interesting, but it's so bad. But Galaxy Quest does not have anything like that, and it's just like, well, except you kind of see a lot of cleavage from Sigourney Weaver, but that's kind of on purpose. But there's just like Veronica Mars's dad, whose name I can't remember. He's so funny. The whole alien crew, and the way they walk and the way they do everything is so funny, but also so sad. Like as you learn more about them, and it's just like, these poor losers. They're such freaks. But yeah, it was good. I was very pleasantly surprised by it.
Nice.
How about you?
Oh man, I've just been, all my free time's been playing Spider-Man 2.
Oh yes, of course.
I just beat the story last night. So I just need to go.
Good story?
Very good story. It is a weird thing to say, but I hope it makes sense. It's just a good video game. Like it feels like a video game in like the most like badass 90s video game you can think of, taken into the new modern console era.
Right.
But it does like wacky shit that you would never expect this serious story to do. It goes places where you're just like, oh, this, like even I can't say it because it's a very big moment of the plot. There was a moment where even my wife, who doesn't necessarily care that much about Spider-Man, just went, well, that was cool. Like,
what the heck? Okay.
Yeah. And so it is, I know it's an exclusive PS5 game, so not a lot of people have PS5s right now, so not a lot of people can play it. But if you have one, absolutely play this game because it's a lot of fun. And yeah, it's a perfect, like, it's one of those games like we talked about with the Star Wars one, the Jedi Survivor, where
Mhm.
it just like does all the shit that I love in a video game, and keeps me wanting to play it with all of my free time.
Yeah.
And it definitely, the story is very strong. Yeah, all the choices they make at every point in the story, I'm like, yes, very good.
I've been thinking a lot about this. I can't remember what game I was playing or what game I was watching somebody play. I think it's like that Starfield or whatever. Is that what that game's called?
Yeah.
And I was reading a review of something, and I was like, I wish they would just, there's like a part of this review where it was like, and this game's fun to play. Because I feel
Right.
like there's a lot of people who play video games that are very cinematic
Mhm.
and very like a slog. What game was it? I cannot remember, but I was like, this is so boring. I couldn't possibly. And there's so many games I forget that they're supposed to also be like fun and have like fun mechanics too. But
Yeah.
Spider-Man just has that built in so well. I really wish they would make a Spider-Man game, because when I beat the first one and you get that costume that's like the 60s cell shaded one,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I was like, this looks so fucking cool. I wish there was a whole game with this style where you were
Yeah.
like going around the Marvel like the Marvel New York City, and there was like other crazy stuff happening.
Yeah, I kind of wish, which would be the biggest pivot in the world, that like this game would just end with them finding the Spider-Verse and it just becomes a Spider-Verse game or something.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't foresee that happening. But they have
Yeah,
the Spider-Verse suits and stuff in this game again, and so you get that animation style where the suits are on like 12 frames a second, so they look like they're moving like they are in the movie, which is
But
great.
I think with like AAA games though, a lot of the audience expects them to be like realistic and
Yes.
look realistic,
Yes.
which seems like such a waste. But
yeah, and I understand that like this series is that, but like I
Yeah.
think having a spin-off or something.
right, that's what I mean. Yeah, like Spider-Man 1965 or whatever, and it's just
Right.
like him and the Fantastic Four doing something,
Yeah.
and you zip past like the Hulk and the Avengers doing something, and you're like, hey, what's up? I think it would be fun. Like Fin Fang Foom busts out of the ground. You got to beat him up. That'd be cool.
I'm on board. Why don't they let us design games, Sam?
Yeah, and to run the Muppets, and we just need to become the CEOs of Disney, or I'll be Disney and you can be Sony.
All right.
Okay,
Hey, Bob
we'll both be
Iger.
both. Yeah,
And whoever runs
Retire.
Sony.
retire. Both of you retire. You might have to move to like Japan though.
I don't feel like we've got a great resume to get these jobs.
We have hours and hours of job interview. I'll just send them our archive.
Yeah.
Listen
hey,
to our
Bob,
good ideas.
listen to all the times we talked about Muppets.
Yeah, you
now
know
give us
that
the
new
keys.
Muppet idea you've been looking for? Well, listen to this. That's what I'll do. And it's like 400 hours. All right, here I go.
All right. Clear my schedule. Well, before we go, we need to let you know what we'll be watching next time. And next time, we will be tackling all of May of 1985 because we will be wrapping up season 3 of Fraggle Rock by watching the last 4 episodes of the season. And those are titled The Cavern of Lost Dreams, The Incredible Shrinking Moki, A Dark and Stormy Night, and Gunge the Great and Glorious.
Hell yeah. That's the season. That's the series finale.
That's yeah.
He just grinds them all under his boot. He's like, I'm the king now.
He just gets supersized like a Power Rangers monster and destroys everyone.
Yeah.
But that'll be next time. We'll just be watching those 4 episodes, which you can find on Apple TV Plus or your DVD sets or wherever else you watch your Fraggle Rock.
I've never thought as hard as I did just now that Godzilla is a puppet. Like,
Yeah. He's
old
basically a
Godzilla.
thog.
That's a puppet show. Interesting. Anyway.
Maybe we can do a special Godzilla episode at some point.
Yeah, admire the puppetry of Godzilla, which
I mean-
is a little janky sometimes.
But in the best way.
In a
And
great way.
anytime I see that guy just in half of the suit,
Yeah.
I love it.
Or King Ghidorah on a fishing line,
Mhm.
basically. Just like flopping
Hey,
all over the
boo, he's scary. Another thing I'll work on when I move over to Japan.
place.
Be like, hey, while I'm here, can I help
Bring
you out with
back the
Godzilla?
old crappy looking Godzilla.
Which they kind of do from time to time in some of those newer, the Shin Godzilla.
Yeah. I think
one.
someday in our lifetime we will see another another puppeted real Godzilla. I bet someone will have the audacity to say, the fun part of Godzilla is when you see him step on the little buildings.
Man, I would love to see, because even Power Rangers doesn't do that really anymore. They like do CGI things. I want to see some big dudes in suits. Or I guess normal dudes in suits filmed so they look big.
So they look big. Yeah, it's just a guy.
It's just a normal guy in a suit.
Matt, those guys aren't giant.
Wait, what? I was always as a kid, it always, like the illusion worked on me until they would just make the Green Ranger big. Like there were sometimes they would just like, make my Ranger grow. And then it was just like the Green Ranger was fighting Megazord and I was like, that's just a big man. Well, we need to thank our friends Tuna and Cassie Wilson for their work on our theme song. Don't forget, you can head on over to commitment.com to check out all our episodes or see our faces or buy some Commitment merch. You can also email us at mail@commitment.com if you have any questions or just things you'd like to share about the Muppets. You can follow this podcast everywhere on social media at Commitment Pod, where we post the links to watching the things we watch so you can watch what we watch. And sometimes that's good because it's Fraggle Rock. And other times it's bad because it's Meet the Feebles. But you can follow me on the internet at Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And as always, keep believing.
Keep pretending.